a special tribute on Saturday.
Yeah.
Jeff Astl's family are coming on, and I'm sure you know all about it. What do you make of them and their campaign and the foundation and that sort of thing, and the memory of Jeff and what they're trying to do?
Well, having spent time at the football club and having met Jeff Astl's family, I know that his wife and the people supporting them have been campaigning for quite a long time. I also know that the club have been very supportive of the family. So, in many ways, it's recognition for an outstanding player and person who's achieved an awful lot for the football club. What we can't do is get carried away in that as an occasion. It's I think it's great that West Brom have decided to make an occasion to both celebrate Jeff Astl's contribution, but also to raise the awareness of these types of head injury issues, if you like. But for us, unfortunately, we have to recognise that we are a part of the day, but that our own plight is the most important thing for us. So getting the balance right is always difficult. We will play our part, and we're pleased to play a part in what will be, I think, a fitting tribute to a great player who's achieved an awful lot for a football club. But like I say, we have to concentrate on our own situation and keep that in context.
You've said to us all the way through this tricky run you've been on that the players have been very stable and been very positive. It must be more positive after a win though, and that was a massive win for you, wasn't it, at the weekend? Has it changed things a little bit? Have you noticed an extra spring in the step?
It was important for us. And we've not had the winning feeling often enough. It's great to have achieved that win, but it's kept us in touch, and that's really what it's about. We now have 8 games left, 5 at home, 3 away games against sides who we can affect, and that in itself adds a different dimension to the games that we have remaining. So it's nice to have, in many ways, games that we can directly affect their end of season. But of course, the flip side of that is that they'll be seeing it as the same way. They're important games for us, but they're also very important games for our opponents. So our form has to take that, if you like, upward trend in terms of results between now and the end of the season. We don't really have a buffer to fall back on. We've got to perform here on in. What I will say about how the players have approached it, as always, they've throughout the season they've dealt with an awful lot of disappointment, but still, we've strived to get the performances very positive, and that's been the case for the majority of the season. So what we've got to do now is live up to other people's views of what they've seen in terms of our performances, but change those performances into more wins, and the pressure will be on us to a certain extent. Maybe there's less pressure because a lot of people have written us off, but I don't really have too much concern about that. What we have to do is really make sure that at the end of the season, whatever happens, is that we can say that we're giving it our best shot. There's an awful lot of football to be played yet, and the players are very much aware of our circumstances.
You did it earlier on in the season, where you went on a run. You had a run of results, and I think you've said actually that one win could spark another run of results.
Let's hope so.
Hope is? Yeah.
Well, it's one thing to hope, and it's another thing to go out there and apply yourselves.
But this squad's almost more than capable of that.
They are, yeah.
Because
yeah,
they are a confident squad, and now they've got that spring in their step. I wonder whether it could make that. You're more of a team where that's likely to happen.
That is what we believe, but we've still got to go and do it. And every game that we have left, there are a lot of games where there's a lot riding for both sides. So it's going to be interesting, and I think that people tell me about other people's run-ins. Ultimately, you will either survive or not based on your own results to a large extent. What we have to try and keep it in our own hands as long as possible, and to do that, we need to achieve more 3-point games. We need to win more games, and that, there's no two ways about it. That's the reality of the situation that we're in. But we are capable of it.
I think somebody picked up on the fact that you said you thought you needed 4 or 5 wins from the remaining 8 games.
Maybe, I don't know. I think this is. You get asked questions and you give them an answer. You don't give an answer, you're miserable. So it's not something. So I'm not. You're not I don't know.
I've looked at it.
Rob, I don't know how it'll pan out, because I've already said we've got to play a lot of sides who are around us. So it depends how those fixtures in particular go. You win enough of those, and the picture changes. What we have to be able to do is manage the swings in mood that will be in the public domain. So you win a game or you lose a game, and quite publicly there's a shift in terms of how people may perceive it. What we really do concentrate on our own games. If it comes to a point where we've got to rely on other people, then that is a different type of scenario. But at the moment, and it is you've got to take care of your own performances and results first. And this stage of the season, everybody's really scrutinising the pluses and minuses of results. But of course, the games that you win, lose, or draw in August and September are as relevant, but you don't know it at the time. And this is where we've got to try and keep an eye on what we do and not really get bogged down in the maths, as you go along. Really
difficult to do that, though.
It is.
I suspect the players, however much you tell them not to, will be looking at it, won't they? They'll be looking at the 8 games you've got left and saying,
yeah, they will.
You get 3 points at home there, you get 3.
And we'll all have slightly different opinions.
Yeah, but I wonder whether that puts a pressure on your players, because the margins are so slight now. Earlier on in the season, if something went wrong, they had time to recover from it. Now there isn't really a room for it.
Well, you do and you don't, and sometimes being under pressure can bring the best out of you. You've got to remember that the team that we are now compared to what we were early part of the season, our players have got a number of months of Premier League experience now that they didn't have when we started off. And it's very easy with hindsight, of course, but I know that for the most part our performances have been very good. It remains a frustration that we've not got more points than we have, but that's where we are at the moment, and I can't really afford at this moment in time to be thinking too much about what's already gone on. I have to, and we have to focus on living in the moment now and trying to affect the games that we've got left, because we can't affect the ones that have already gone. We can learn by what's happened, but you certainly can't change those results.
West Brom, 2 straight Premier League defeats. Is that a wounded animal? Is it an opportunity for you? If you win it, you drag them right back into it. I'm guessing that's the way you're looking at it.
Well, you've already answered your own question. It's a situation that we know it's a game that we've got to do everything we can to win it, and that's how we will approach every game. How recent results will affect how West Brom set up at this moment, I don't know, but I would suspect, knowing Tony, that he will stay very much in terms of what's got them success. He will stick very much to the principles that have reaped rewards for him over quite a long period of time, and but he'll also be aware of the fact that there is a need to rectify previous results, and of course there is the occasion to build into it. So, but all that again is secondary to our own performance and how we approach the game ourselves. We've got to be able to deal with our opponents and be aware of what they're about, of course. But ultimately, for us, the thing that I'm most aware of is our own type of performance and the levels that we are capable of, and we'll be trying to hit those again and even improve on them if we can. So that's really where we're at. I can't do too much about how West Brom prepare for this game, but what I do have an understanding and an effect on is the people that I work with.
Thank you. Team news. Matthew Upson, is he back?
He's training with us, yeah.
News?
Dean Hammond's training, full trainer as well. So an improvement on last week's availability. It means that we go into this run-in with some nice selection issues.
Good stuff, thank you.
Okay.
Nigel, a lot of people talk about how a team reacts to defeat.
Yeah.
And looking for a reaction to a defeat. So, is there also a reaction you expect from a victory?
Well, I hope it's a positive one. Let's put it like that, because we've not experienced the winning mentality, if you like, or the winning feeling often enough this season. Whether we deserve to is another matter. But the fact that under pressure we were able to put in another very positive performance. It was an open game in many ways. And speaking to Sam after the game, we were both acutely aware of the fact that both sides could have won the game. But I think both sides clearly made their intentions absolutely clear in the sense that we were trying to win the game. Made for a very watchable game, but that's not what it's about for me at the moment. It's about us trying to pick up points. I was very pleased with how we went about trying to win the game and dealing with the setback of missing a penalty and conceding an equaliser. So, there are lots of positives for us, but it's, as I've already said, we don't really have any, or we don't have a great margin of error at the moment. So it really is important that we put last week behind us. There are positives from it, of course, but we've got to now make sure that we're ready for this next game.
You touched on that word experience, experiencing the Premier League, and this squad largely haven't got Premier League experience.
No.
You can't buy it, you can't teach it.
Well, you can buy it, but it costs an awful lot of money.
Right. In terms of this squad, they couldn't acquire it without going through the experience, could they, in a sense? And what do you think they've learned? They've had to learn quickly.
I think what the players would say if you ask them is that now that all right, we're in a difficult situation, but we also know that we're a capable side as well. So look, we go into the final 8 games now, and with a sense of understanding where we are, and we know that we're capable, but we've got to go out and do it and win enough games. And it's still going to be very, very hard for us, but we are capable.
And a lot of people, whether you care to listen to or take any notice of what people say about the team, the performances, people have obviously made the point, as you have, that you've been in most of the games you played in.
Yeah, we have.
You've not been outplayed in many of the games that you played in. But at the moment, do performances matter at all? Isn't it just about results, however you can get them?
Yeah, it is. It is about results, but and I could argue that we've not won ugly often enough. But look, we've got in terms of the players, and I do think that the players that we have so far given everything that they've got. So there's loads of ways, different ways of looking at it, and everybody's a fantastic manager with hindsight. The bottom line is what we've got is 8 games left, and we've got to get as many points out of these last 8 games as is possible, and then we'll see where that leaves us. But there is an air of confidence and belief still around the place, and that is really important at this stage in the situation that we're in.
Just made me smile because maybe that's where your job, in a sense, is unique, because unlike most of us, there are 30,000 people out there every week think they can do your job better than you can. Is that something you find?
Yeah, well, if it's that many, then wow. But I understand that they're entitled to. Everybody's entitled to have their opinion because they pay good money to come and see us, and I think that's. It is the beauty of it's also something that is probably unique, I think, to the game of football in many ways. That it is the sort of the vocal opinions, if you like, are there for everybody to hear. So, but look, that's how it is. That's the industry, and it probably makes it what it is.
Thank you.
Good or bad.
We'll hand over to the ribbons, please. Issues for cutaways, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Nigel.